This is The Word. So I have an editorial from Media Matters for America entitled Rush Limbaugh's Whirlwind Fox News Press Tour. It starts off by saying, Fox News' Greta Van Susteren sat down with Rush Limbaugh for the full hour of her program last night. Have you ever seen Greta's show?
I think once or twice.
What do you think of it?
You know, it's been a long time, and I honestly don't even remember it.
Yeah. I think it's pretty uninteresting, but Van Susteren's interrogation of Rush, it says, was anything but harsh, and never touched on any of Limbaugh's ongoing contractual and advertiser problems, pretty much what you'd expect from a Fox News interview. Her characterization of the interview as rare was not accurate. In the past, Limbaugh has indeed been reticent to appear on cable news, and even boasted that any other platform besides his was a waste of time. Something has changed. Limbaugh's July 30th interview with Van Susteren marked the third time that Rush had appeared on Fox News this month. That's a dramatic shift from Limbaugh's long-standing disregard for television appearances. In July 2010, a caller to his radio show had asked him why he doesn't spend more time on television, and Rush said it was beneath him. He said, I don't want to go on television shows with 1/10 of the audience that radio has. He went on to say, I'm not going to rely on some other TV show or TV network or whatever informing you. That's my job. That's why I joke around, if I haven't said it, it hasn't been said. If I don't talk about it, it's not worth knowing it. Why should I waste my time on these shows? What do you think has changed in his circumstances or his attitude to prompt this newfound visibility?
You know, I don't know exactly what has changed. I know that she is a big Scientologist, and I'm wondering maybe, Xenu has slipped him something.
Do you think he's going to become a Scientologist?
But I know that there is an article that I did read that as of February, what the big guy in Scientology is, they call him Fleet Admiral, okay?
Okay.
And the big guy's name is Fleet Admiral David
Miscavige, yeah.
Miscavige. And he ordered, Admiral Tom Cruise to recruit new and better celebrities. And there's a list of 25 that they have on that list.
Really?
Yes. And number 18 is Rush Limbaugh.
Oh, Annika,
maybe it's working.
You just brought a new angle into this. You are reaching journalist level. I'm so glad you uncovered this. This is an angle I had no idea about.
Yes, they want Spielberg, like that'll ever happen. They want Angelina Jolie, Oprah, Justin Bieber,
that is
Kim Kardashian. They want Britney, Tyler Perry. They want Jen Aniston, Brad Pitt. Believe it or not, they want Gary Busey. I don't know.
Because they're so anti-drug, they want to help him out a little bit. But that is an overly ambitious list.
Yep.
But then again, when we had our discussion about Scientology prompted by Leah Remini's exit, their mission, the mission is to take over the world for Scientology. And so these celebrities are an essential part of that. So I think it would behoove all of us who are cautious of Scientology to just keep an eye on the situation and see if Rush maybe mentions Scientology.
And get this, there is a guy there, and his spokesman from the Celebrity Center in Hollywood, named Ken, you can believe it, Delusion. That's his name.
Stop it.
Ken Delusion.
Oh.
Delusion. Okay?
Okay.
And anyways, he was speaking, he's a Church of Scientology spokesman.
Yes.
And he says that, quote, the entire agonized future of every man, woman, and child is Earth. But on Earth is at stake. And he also went to note that the, quote, Church of Scientology's aggressive affection and caring is sometimes mistaken for stalking or spying by those who do not understand what real caring means.
Oh.
All they want is for celebrities to join the Church of Scientology and lead others into the Church of Scientology. We also want celebrities to care enough about planetary clearing to donate large sums of money to the IAS.
Wonderful.
So,
do you think that, and this is going off on this tangent, but Scientology is fascinating. This is not the first time it's been brought up.
That could be an angle, because,
Yeah, it's very conceivable.
Who knows? Could it be that he's afraid of losing his audience? Possibly. But I still think that he's the number one listened to, radio person in the country. If I'm not mistaken. I think he's still at number one.
And you know what? It's true, but it's, and it also brings me to the fact that he could have chosen Bill O'Reilly. He could have chosen Sean Hannity. Why did he go to Greta Van Susteren, who in the past has been referred to as a liberal?
Yeah, and that's all he's ever gone to, basically.
Yeah, that's pretty strange.
Unless, who knows? They could have a personal friendship.
Yeah, and who knows? Who knows?
But trust her.
I would ask you this question. Do you think Scientology, the church, do you think the Church of Scientology is succeeding in their efforts to make themselves more respectable and, convert the world to their faith?
No, not at all.
I know. You know what's scary, though, is if this show ever does get larger recognition, Scientology is going to be on us in a second.
Not if, when.
When. But, because, and I'm not even saying this because I'm having a big hood moment or whatever, no. Because, we talked about those memoirs I wrote.
Yep.
The memoirs that I read, they will scan the media for references of Scientology, and they will go after you and monitor you,
Well, like you said, they're not spying.
It's aggressive caring.
Caring. Caring for you.
Well, we need to go...
You're loved, Jacob. You're loved.
Oh, I'm loved by Scientology. Great. Wonderful. But back to Rush Limbaugh specifically. Do you think it's reached this kind of cap where people are just sick of him?
It's really hard to say. If you listen to Mark Levin or some of the other guys on Fox Radio, they have gone so far to the right that I'm wondering if maybe Rush is becoming a little more moderate compared to some of these guys.
See, that shows you really interesting what the situation is like if Rush Limbaugh is a moderate in any situation,
Yeah, some of these other guys are, really out there,
Yeah, Glenn Beck.
But then they're way out there.
Yeah. So...
And I used to like Levin, but he's just nuts.
Yeah. Well, let's continue in this editorial. It finishes up that Rush has logged 3 Fox interviews over the last month. It's hard to see how this shift in media strategy is not linked to Limbaugh's trouble with his I guess what they would call it, his distributor, Cumulus Media, who I guess owns radio stations, and their reported plans to drop his show from their 40-plus radio stations at the end of the year.
Do you realize 40 radio stations? That's nothing.
Yeah, that's true. But
nothing.
I know, but then again, there is so much consolidation in radio, so that they probably represent 40 major radio markets. Cumulus Media is apparently the second largest radio company in the country.
Yeah, Mel Karmazin's is the number one, and then Cumulus.
Yeah, so it's probably, 40's not a lot. We have so many radio stations, but from a perspective of market share, it's probably taking quite a hit. This
right, but he could end up going private like Howard Stern did.
Yeah.
And go to, Sirius XM and probably make much more money doing that.
And you know what? He could also so easily do the kind of Glenn Beck model with the Blaze paid memberships. He would easily have paid people immediately.
Oh, God, yes. So I don't think that, Cumulus dropping him is any big deal.
Yeah.
He's got enough of a following that he'll get picked up.
Yeah. And
it's an if.
Yeah.
And if they don't drop him, he can really take them to the cleaners. financially.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what?
Renegotiate his contract and take him to the cleaners.
So I think liberals are kind of overselling this. I don't know if you heard, but Cumulus also announced that they would drop Hannity too, and people were kind of like, "Woo, yay!" But you're right. When you look at it like this,
it could be this could be a strategy by Cumulus to get people to see who's listening too, and see how many comments they get, and
Well, also
have an idea of their listener base.
Exactly, but also it could be a bargaining technique.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We're going to drop you. Oh yeah, we're going to, and he'll sell himself around. And for him, it could be, he can then go and sell himself around and be like, yeah, you're not going to take me. Well, I could go here for this much. Now, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
It's all negotiating and
So and really, we're not. We don't know what the. At least we don't have any reports of what the background kind of machinations are. But somebody like Sirius XM would probably snap him up in a second.
Oh, easily. Easily. Or I'm sure Fox would snap him up in a second.
Oh yeah,
too.
Fox News Radio, absolutely.
To be a permanent, a permanent consultant with Fox.
Yeah,
and even he could be snapped up as a TV consultant for Fox as well.
Yeah. If he could, if he is going to more of a television strategy, that would fit perfectly.
Right, and by saying I don't do television, that indicates to me that maybe he is, because this way when he does do it, he's like, well, I don't really do television, but this station is so good. I just had.
Oh yeah, I definitely see how that could be kind of a like a tactic as well. But so this editorial finishes up, and it says he's out there doing media hits on a platform that isn't his own, a public relations move that until recently he insisted was demeaning and unnecessary. So I mean, we've pretty much covered it all. There are some angles that it could be, but at the end of the day, we don't know. We're going to have to let this one play out and see where he is by the end of the year. I think there's a good chance by Christmas, if we revisit this, I think he could be on satellite radio. Or he even he's such a big star, he doesn't even need satellite radio. He could just set up his own pay site.
I think the moral of it is he's not going anywhere.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And I guess liberals,
shape, or form.
And I guess liberals so want to think that they won't have to deal with him on the public stage that they want to believe more than this actually indicates. But I think that would be false. I think he's still going to be here, but he might not be in the same format. And let's face it, terrestrial radio, you can argue about how fast it's declining, but it is declining. And so it may behoove
Nobody wants commercials. Nobody wants, people are spending less and less time at a place where they can listen to it.
And the people who really are passionate about radio or getting audio content, they are willing to pay for a subscription to Sirius XM to have no commercials,
Absolutely.
So
and not even people that are that serious. I mean, there are people that have kids, and they do it because they are kids.
And they have kids channels. They have all sorts of channels, yeah.
Exactly.
And, and also, Sirius XM, back when they were two different companies in the mid-2000s, they were really successful because they started bundling it with certain cars, Right. And that was very successful.
And how all cars pretty much come with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, my car does. I mean...
Yeah, and it's a really wonderful service. It's really amazing. But,
I think it's overpriced, but yes.
Well, I don't know how much it's priced, but I think it's nice. Any more comments on this before we move on?
No, we can move on.
Next up, we have the tragic story of a raid on a private farm that ended up in the slaughtering of a baby deer.